Hi there. My name is Father Tom Merkel. I'm the associate pastor at St. Al's in Houghton and St. Anne's in Chassel. And I just wanted to give a brief reflection on some of the readings from this week. This week we're in the 30th Sunday in Ordinary Time, and the gospel this week, although shorter than many previous weeks, still has a lot to unpack in it. A scholar of the law comes up to Jesus and he asks them a question: "What commandment is in the law is the greatest?" And the Lord says to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." And then he goes on, the whole law and the prophets depend on these two commandments. So he's asked one question, but he gives two answers for it, because he wants to show how important it is that the love of God, we can't separate that from loving our fellow men. So first off, to love God, for us, we have to give him our all, our heart, our soul, our mind. That's a way of showing our whole existence, everything that we have, has to be directed towards the Lord. And when Christ suffered and died and rose again for us, he didn't do that just to get our bodies or just to get our souls. He wants to restore all of us. This is one thing that we believe about the resurrection of the dead at the end of time, where our bodies will be reunited with our souls in heaven and will be fully glorified, just as the body of Jesus and the body of Mary are in heaven right now. So Jesus is not letting sin and death have any of us. He wants us to be completely his and for us to be completely in love with him. And we see this, like we can live this out even now by offering God our heart, our soul, and our mind. Then the second part he hears, he doesn't just stop there. He says, the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. This is really important because we hear about loving our neighbor in the first reading. And in the book of Exodus, the Lord says he's talking about lots of these people who are on the fringes of society. These are the people that we are called to love. And not just them, but everybody. But in a special way, these ones have God as their protector. And we're called to be their protector too. We hear that. We hear about the widows and the orphans. You shall not wrong any widow or orphan. If you ever wrong them and they cry out to me, I will surely hear their cry. My wrath will flare up, and I will kill you with the sword. Then your own wives will be widows and your children orphans. It seems pretty brutal there, but God is really trying to drive home the point that those who are defenseless, the widows and the orphans, in that time, widows and orphans had no one to protect them. Society did not really look out for them. And they really only had God. God was their defender. So we have to look for not just widows and orphans, yes, very much so, but everyone else who has no one else but God as their protector. The unborn, the marginalized in any way. We have to be able to be the ones that reach out to them, recognizing that God has a special love for them too. In the psalm, something that stuck out to me here, he goes, I love you, O Lord, my strength. O Lord, my rock, my fortress, my deliverer. My God, my rock of refuge, my shield, the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. Praise be the Lord, I exclaim, and I am safe from my enemies. So, it sounds like we can see in the first reading that the widows, the orphans, the outcasts, the alien, they all have a special right to God's protection. But then in the psalm, the psalmist is the one calling the Lord his strength and protection. So we have to recognize that we are spiritual outcasts at times, that we are the spiritual widows and the orphans, that times that we've been hurt by sin, that no one else is going to protect us but God, that God alone is in love with us, and that he is the one that we should run to, that he is our rock, our fortress, our deliverer, and that when sin is knocking at the door of our hearts and our souls, we let Jesus answer. We let him guide us through temptation. And if we fall, we still run to him. We run to him as the deliverer, as the stronghold. We run to him through the sacraments, through contrition, through bringing our hearts to the Lord, and recognize that, yes, we are the widows and the orphans. We're the ones that are the aliens. in a strange land here. We're called to recognize heaven as our homeland, not just our time here on earth. And so recognizing that we have to love God first, and also part of that is relying on him completely to fight sin in our lives and also to grow in holiness. And from that flows a love for everybody else, for our brothers and sisters, for our families, our friends, widows, orphans, and everybody. So the love of God inspires that. Please know that you guys are all in my prayers. Whether you receive the Eucharist sacramentally or spiritually, today is a good opportunity to recognize that the Lord is our strength, that he is our rock, that he is our fortress and deliverer, and that we can continue to go to him. And that, yes, it takes time. It takes practice. Keep practicing and persevere in that. And we can always get better growing in love for the Lord and running to him quicker. So don't be disappointed and never be discouraged when we fall into sin. We have to recognize that discouragement and despair is a trap of the enemy after we've fallen, where God is the one who wants to be our deliverer and our fortress. So no matter where we're at in our life, we can always run to the Lord and recognize that he's in love with us. So please know of my prayers for all of you. Once again, thank you for all of your prayers. I've been here a few months now, and it's really been a great experience, and I'm very thankful for all the friendships I've made and for all of the love and support I've received. Thank you so much, and God bless.